Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. I made a joke that Sue took my hands and put them in a bowl of liquid. After a few seconds, she took my right hand and used an emery board to gently file my nails. She shaped them to fit my fingertips, pushed the cuticles back, and then started to brush something on. I wanted to say something, but the music, the wine, and the fact that I didn't want to disappoint my wife made me keep quiet. I fell asleep again. It seemed like a dream when I heard Heather come back. "What's up with him?" "Sue," she asked. He wasn't sure at first, but in the end he agreed to get a manicure. That special wine seems to always get them to let down their guard. Good. As I fought to wake up, I noticed that my nails looked like they had grown. They were about an inch long and a bright red color. I would have said something, but it didn't seem like a big deal anymore. Heather said, "Welcome back from your nap. Are you ready for the next step in your new look?" I said, "I guess so." "Great! Now Sue will do your toes while I do your eyebrows. Are you all set?" I didn't agree, but I didn't know how to say it. Sue took my shoes and socks off and started cutting, filing, and polishing my toenails until they were the same color as my fingers. Heather was busy plucking my eyebrows at the same time. It hurt, but I didn't say anything because I thought it would be easier to let her work while I listened to music. Soon, I started to think I liked getting my nails done. "Next, we'll shave your arms and chest." I started to laugh because this seemed silly to me. Heather was checking to see if my hair was dry after she was done with my brows. She took out the perm rods because I was dry. I looked in the mirror and saw that each strand she took out was very curly and seemed to be half as long as it had been. "Oh, yes," Heather said. "That first treatment was a hair dye, and now your hair is red." "Don't worry about how curly your hair is. We still need to set it. If you don't want those curls, you'll have to set it every time you wash your hair from now on. Still, they look very nice, and you might want to wear your hair that way for special events. We have some ribbons that would look great on it." I wanted to protest the changes, but I heard myself say, "I'll be sure to give it a try soon." She took me back to the sink, thoroughly wet my hair, and then combed it. I noticed that it was much harder for the comb to go through the curls than through my straight hair. We went to the chair for styling, where she put a gel-like substance on my hair and combed it through. She then got a big plastic roller, which she said was magnetic, and started winding my hair around it. When she was done with one, she would stick a white plastic pin through it and into my head to keep the roller from moving. She used a lot less rollers than rods, and it took her about 20 minutes to finish. Then I put a hairnet over my rollers and cotton pads over my ears and went back to the dryer. Sue brought me another glass of wine, and I didn't even think twice about drinking it. The music got louder once more. She told me, "I do your face while you're getting your hair dry. We can start with a moisturizer since it looks like you shaved this morning." She took some cream out of a jar and put a small amount on my face. Then she took what she said was foundation, put it on my face in a few spots, and spread it out so that it covered my whole face. Next, she used something she called powder to keep your nose from being shiny. Now a little blush, I think pink. She took a small brush and rubbed it on a plastic case. Again, a strange idea came to mind. I didn't know how much fun it was to put on makeup. I'm interested in doing this again. Now look at your eyes. It seems wrong to cover them up with those glasses. We'll think about that later, though. She put on what she called eyeliner by drawing lines on the edges of my eyelids and then smudging it with her fingertip. She kept putting it on even though I kept closing my eyes. "Now put some eyeshadow on. I think we should use green because your hair is red and your eyes are blue. It looks great with the way you're colored." She took a small sponge on a stick and rubbed it along my eyelids, sort of sweeping the color up in a curved shape. Then she took a pencil, which she said was an eyebrow pencil, and started drawing over my newly thin and arched brows. She then pulled out a tool that looked like a cross between a pair of scissors and pliers and said, "This is an eyelash curler. By the way, a lot of women wish they had your eyelashes." She opened it, and I saw that the bottom edge was made of rubber. She put it on my eyelash, squeezed it shut, and held it there for about 5 seconds. Then she moved to the other eye and did the same thing. She said, "Much better, now put on some mascara." She took a bristled brush on a thin stick out of a round tube and held it to my lower lash and kind of twisted it around. Then she did the same thing to my upper lash. "That's good, now do the other eye." Then she did the same thing to the other ones. The lips next. "Put your lips together." She used another brush that looked like a small watercolor brush to put what she called lip liner around the edges of my lips. Then she used a tube of red lipstick to color in the lips. She put a piece of tissue paper in front of my mouth and told me to press my lips on it. Then she put on a second coat and finished with some powder. She said it would help it last longer. Heather then came back to check on my hair. "Okay, you're dry. Time to be done with you." I sat down next to her in the stylist's chair. She took out one roller at a time from my hair. After the perm, the curls were much smaller than they were now. She started brushing my hair after she took out all the rollers. She took a few strands of hair and curled them around my face to frame it. Then she grabbed a handful of hair from the back and put it on top of my head. She used a clip to hold it together at the base of the bunch, then spread it out into curls that fell from the top of my head. Then she put the sides in a way that made them look like they were curling under and making waves behind my ears. She put a silk flower behind my right ear and used what seemed like a whole can of hairspray to finish it off. I was excited to see how it turned out and wondered if I could get the same look on my own. Heather said, "One last thing for your makeover." She pulled out a tool with a chrome finish, put it around my right earlobe, and snap! I felt a sting. Then the feeling happened twice more on the ear cartilage. "You have 2 studs and a hoop. Would you like the same on the other side?" I heard the question and even understood it, but I couldn't answer. "Sue, it looks like he can't decide what to do." "How do you feel?" Heather inquired. Sue looked closely at my face. "I feel like we should also do the other side. Pairs would look better." 3 more times, the instrument snapped on my ear, making it hurt and sting. Then I noticed that the weight of the hoops was pulling on my earlobes, and I could feel them swinging gently against the side of my face when I moved my head. Heather was right when she said that was the look his wife had in mind. Then she talked to me once more. "Your makeover is almost done. Would you like to see how your wife chose to change you?" She turned the chair toward the mirror, handed me my glasses, and asked, "What do you think?" I stared at the woman in the mirror, but I didn't know who she was. I didn't realize I was the woman in the terry cloth robe for a few seconds. I still didn't know what to say, but my eyes got very big. Sue took note. "I guess you like your makeover. Usually we also give you a new wardrobe, but your wife chose to send you home in the clothes you already had. She did send a shirt so that we don't have to try to put the sweatshirt over your new hairstyle. Why don't you go get dressed? After Heather sets out your clothes, you'll be ready to go home." I went in, put on my jeans, socks, and sneakers, and noticed how smooth my legs were since they didn't have any hair. Then I put on my shirt and noticed again that my chest and arms were hairless. I went back to the main room and saw a strange woman wearing my clothes. Slowly, I realized that it was me. Heather said I had to wait. "We can't let you drive. Too much of our wine got into you. We have set up for a limo to take you home, though. You can park your car here and get it back the next day. Once you're feeling like yourself again, feel free to stop by and tell us how you like your new look. While we wait for the limo, why don't you take one last good look at yourself in the mirror? He will be there at 5, so you still have a few minutes." Sue gave me a hand mirror, and when I looked at myself in it, I didn't recognize myself. I saw a plain woman with too much makeup and bright red hair styled in a way that looked like it was for a prom, but didn't go with what she was wearing at all. I looked like a man from the neck down, except for the bright red nails. I don't know what I thought would happen, but that wasn't it. I thought, I know I could look better than this. "You don't have any nice clothes for me to wear. Please." Heather stopped me from daydreaming. "Here comes the limo. You don't have to worry about that because he has already been paid." She gave me a tape to watch. "Give this to your wife. It's a permanent record of how you changed your look, so she can do it to you again. Oh, and the wine will wear off in about an hour, right around the time you get home. Then you'll be able to react to things again. Sue told me, "It was a pleasure to help with your makeover. I hope we'll meet again someday. By the way, if you haven't washed your hair in 3 days, don't try to. You could really mess it up. The nails are stuck on there for good and won't come off. Before you can take off the fake nails, your own nails will have to grow out. Your body hair will grow back, but it could take weeks, and you'll never have as much as you did before. She'll help you take care of your pierced ears. Also, the music you liked so much had messages that you didn't hear. You'll want to keep looking like a woman from now on. You won't feel like yourself unless you're wearing earrings and have long nails. Your desire to dress like a woman will only get stronger. You should try to keep your hairstyle as girly as possible. Makeup will fascinate you. After a few weeks, you'll want to come back for another makeover day, and the next time we'll do even more." I went out to the limo, where the driver did a double take, tried not to laugh, and asked, "Where to, sir? Or do I mean miss?" Sue gave him my address and said, "Bring him home by 6 o'clock, but if you have time, bring him at this place first. She needs to meet her co-workers." I noticed, but didn't fully understand, that she told the driver the address of the club where my co-workers usually go for drinks after work. "I'll do that, miss, and I'll make sure she greets them right." During the ride, I saw him looking at himself in the rearview mirror and laughing. We were at the club before I knew it. I almost didn't think before I said, "I'll be right back," as if I were a robot. "Please hold on here." "Yes, Ms." He smiled. I walked into the club and saw some of my co-workers in a corner. I walked up to them and said, "Hi." At first, no one knew who I was, but then they recognized my voice and face. "Is this supposed to be funny? Why are you all dressed up? I didn't know you changed your clothes. I never would have thought that. Why don't you do that when you go to work?" My boss gave me a look and asked, "Is this why you took the day off?" "I want to see you first thing Monday morning in my office. We should talk." The driver came in at this point. "It's time to go, miss. You should get home soon." I turned around and followed him without thinking about it. I was just doing what I was told. He drove me home. As I got out of the car, he said, "Have a good evening, miss. I hope that you can decide who you want to be." When I walked into the house, I heard a lot of people yelling "surprise" and "happy birthday" until they were cut off by the guests, who seemed to be my whole family and most of my friends. My wife walked over to me, looked at me, and then turned to talk to our guests. My husband has always been very interested in hair. Last month, I caught him using my hot rollers when he thought I would be gone for a few hours. So I thought of something special to give him for his birthday. You see what happened. All of you know Chris as a man. Now meet Krista as a woman. If she wants to live here from now on, she will have to dress as a woman. I set her on her way because she wanted it so much. Today is not only Krista's birthday, but also the first day of her new life, and I invited you to be here with her to celebrate it. I'm not sure why she wanted to look like a woman, but I'm going to let her try it out. I was starting to remember who I was again, and I was starting to feel embarrassed by what I had been going through and by the fact that my secrets were out in the open for everyone to see. My wife put the video on the TV and started playing it for our guests while I was thinking. I watched the tape as I went from looking like a man to looking like a woman. I saw the dye, the perm, the waxing, the shaping of my eyebrows, the makeup, the roller set, and the piercing of my ears. Worse, I saw myself working with them without seeming to mind. Even though I knew it was just the conditioning talking, I was excited to go back to the salon and get my car. They might be able to show me how to put on makeup better. I also had to think about getting contacts so that my glasses wouldn't cover my eyes. I was trying to figure out what to wear to see my boss. Maybe my wife would take me shopping for clothes tomorrow. A new dress, nylons, and heels would make me look better for sure. I would need more earrings since I was already wearing all of the ones I owned. After our last guest left, my wife gave me a hug and said, "Happy birthday, Krista. I hope it was an experience you won't forget. If you hadn't wanted it so much, I would have never put you through that. And now you don't have to hide the fact that you want to dress like a woman. Everyone I can think of, including family, friends, and co-workers, knows about you. Now you have to figure out how to look more like the role you've chosen. You can count on it, I said, though I wasn't sure what I was saying yes to or if I was saying yes to everything. One thing was for sure. I could never go back. Too many people had seen me for me to ever pretend like nothing had happened. Was it the end or just the start? Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.